Hello, good evening all my dear friends. Yesterday I was discuss about the meaning of purchase books and importance, even advantage of purchase books. So that period I was promised about that I will be definitely also explain you the problems of purchase books and how we are maintain our purchase books even it is corresponding of ledger postings. So today we are going to explore about fundamental concept in account purchasing books. Yes, obviously I know about that. These topics may be apparent simply at the first glance. However, if you have truly understanding about the chapters, it is become one of the must score area in your examinations. So let's approach the systematically how the purchase books solve the problems. So before we are jumping into the problem, first of all we should have to also ask some types of questions like critical questions or logical questions about the purchase books. So what exact qualify or transactions to be recorded in the purchase book? I already mentioned about that. The answer is preciously and non-negotiables. Not in the cash purchase, not in the assets purchase recorded in the purchase books. Only credit purchase of goods are recorded in the purchase books. So in this whole chapter we should have to also keep in our minds the distinctions is the fundamental of entire chapters. About that only keep record in credit purchase the goods and service. So let's start move on our practical questions. So here is the questions. Let's now examine the transactions one by one with a proper reasonings. First of all, we can see the ASAR 1 transactions, then after ASAR 5, ASAR 11 and 25, and requirement is also their requirement. First requirement is purchase books, then after purchase accounts and creditors accounts. So I also solve the question and here is the solution. So first of all we should have to make purchase books. So before the making purchase books we should have to know about the format. So format is date, particular, invoice number, LF, details, total, RS. And I already mentioned about that before we are making purchase books we should have to also sufficient idea about the format. So here is the formats. And now let's start ASAR 1. So we have multiple items, tea, oil, rice, and there is also RS and quantity. So 100 kg tea at the rate of RS 60 per. So 100 into 60 is 6,000. Then after 50 tons of oil at the rate of 1500 per tins. Then after it's 50 into 1500 is 75,000. Then after 25 bags rice at the rate of 400 per kg. Then it is totally 10,000. Then we have calculate total value which comes 91,000. And now we observe carefully there is no trade discounts. Therefore, the fully amount is recorded 91,000. And also since the this is a credit transaction, so it is eligible for the purchase books. And now ASAR 5, Sanjeev Suppliers is the total purchase is 1,80,000 and trade discount is 50%. So now here is where students often make mistakes. Trade discounts is not recorded separately in these books and instead it is reduced immediately and only the net amount is recorded. So net amount is only recorded. So the finally value is become 1,53,000. And then after move on ASAR 11. So ASAR 11 is the cash purchase now. Now think logically. Does these transactions belong to the purchase books? Obviously not. Why? Because I already mentioned about that only credit purchase are mentioned in these purchase books. So obviously not, because the purchase book strictly record the credit transactions only, and there will be go into the book cash books, not here. So I skips the cash purchase and only mentions the credit purchase. So SR 25 total amount is 43,000 here, and less is 10%. So after that the amount is 38,700 is coming net value, and again we have amount of recorded, and now we sum all the credits purchased. So totally purchase books is right now is 2,82,700, and now we have to post we should have to post into the purchase accounts. So purchase accounts format is date, particular, JF, amount, date, particular, JF and amounts. And we are also considered about the left side is debit and right side is credit. So first of all we should have to calculate our cash transactions. Our cash transactions is 28,000. We already know about in equations there is given aside on cash totally 40 bags nuts at the rate of 50 per kg. So 40 into 500 and 20 bags wheats at the rate of 400 per bags. So which comes value is 28,000. Then after we should have to also mention in the debit side aside 30 to sundry accounts, and sundry accounts amount is come from here. So 2,82,700. Then after we are add those value is 3,30,000, and in a debit side the value is 3,30,000. So we should have to also maintain the credit side balance. So we take by the balance of credit side 3,10,700. This is why, because of the double entry systems, and this given is the total value is 3,07,000. This represents the total purchase made by the business, both cash and credits. And we also mention the ASAR 30 is sundry creditors data amounts. Then we should have to also mention ASAR first to bank balance BD. And now move on next question. And like the way we make the purchase books posting and then after purchase account postings. So today we are learning how posting purchase books, and then after it is also corresponding ledger postings. And the way we could also posting the creditors of Bhola Traders accounts. So creditors of Bhola Traders account is here, so date, particular JF amount, debit, particular JF amount, and month 330 to balance carry down is 91,000, because from the Bhola Traders we are only record the 91,000, because the Bhola Traders we are purchase on credits 91,000 amount. So we can see here, and by purchase account also we can mention in a credit side. And if the debit side is not balanced, then we should have to also mention maintain like these two balance carry downs. And we also see the Sanjeev Suppliers account maintained here, and last Nishakar Traders accounts is also mentioned. So today we are learn how to purchase books are recorded and how its corresponding ledger posting. Thank you for watching my video. If the video is support you, then like me, subscribe me, and thank you for watching me and support me everyone.